In this video, I'm gonna do a random Q&A regarding these beginner computerized sewing machines. So let's go. Is it scary to use them? No, but it is intimidating at first. Any new machine can do that to you, but you just have to get over it. If others can do it, you can do it too. What's the difference between this type of machine compared to the classic embroidery machine? This is a loaded question. There are dedicated embroidery machines out there. They do not sew, they just embroider. There are also hybrid combo machines out there that can do both, sewing machine and embroidery machine. These particular machines I'm talking about are called computerized sewing machines with built-in stitches. You cannot introduce your own design because there is no open memory or storage system to bring in your own design. But you can change the length and width of the many stitches of your sewing machine. Why are there two plugs? One is the electrical outlet that powers the machine, and the other plug is to power the foot pedal. To put it simply, for every stitch that you choose, it is pre-approved by the sensor, driven by the software. Example, are you using the correct presser foot? If not, the machine will not work if you try to press the pedal. You choose the stitch first, then you press the pedal. That is the order. Why do some machines have either two speeds or are slow in speed compared to a manual sewing machine? It's for your protection. Why can't I make the automatic needle work as expected? It takes time to get the hang of it. The mechanism needs to be precisely positioned to make this work. Quality control and design of the automatic threader plays a big factor. Why are some machines picky with the quality of threads? It really depends on the machine. The Singer brand can tolerate many brands, but the Brother, it is choosy. I use one brand of thread and it's fine. Then I switched to a lower quality brand and I had to re-thread it like 7 times. Also, a lot of older sewing machines can tolerate many variety of threads. Not so much on the newer ones, especially the lay-in system of threading. It varies from one machine to another. Why does it show that I can do 2 lines of thread stitching, but when I try to stitch on it, it only shows 1? That's for the twin needle sewing. It is an option especially for straight stitching. Now this is a very loaded topic. I actually made a video about twin needle sewing and you can learn more about it in this video. Why is my screen showing me an error code whenever I use the buttonhole foot? Some machines have exact steps on how to do the buttonhole. Most likely you forgot to pull down the buttonhole lever behind the automatic needle threader. When I use the buttonhole foot, the button just snaps out of it in the middle of my buttonhole project. What's going on? Yes, that happens. Poor quality of buttonhole holder. Try switching to a different brand. I was able to use the Singer buttonhole foot and use it on the Brother. Some interchange, especially the low shank machines. I made a different video on how I make my own buttonhole these days. this machine all day? Not really. These machines are not built for heavy-duty sewing. This is just for occasional sewers out there, hobbyists. Every day, 8 hours a day, this is not that kind of machine. Where is the dial for adjusting the pressure of the fabric? Unfortunately, many new sewing machines do not include that option anymore. Older machines, yes, it was a given. So in the old days, when sewing thick fabrics, you raise the presser foot. When sewing thin fabrics, you lower the presser foot. Or some of them are in a form of a dial, turn left or right. Anyway, the newer machines have an advanced feed system. For every stitch that you selected, the software program adjusts to the pressure automatically. No need for that extra lever. But don't forget that thread tension adjustment is still around. Can you tell me the common use on where I can practically apply the stitches built into these machines? Do I really need them? Listen, they are mostly for border designs. Say you're making baby blankets, quilts, and girls' dresses. Some of you sewers out there do not know anybody that are having babies or have little girls to sew. The many designs here can render useless for certain user base. So yeah, if you want to strip it down and you think this is way too much design for you, then don't buy it. Get a simple machine. What needle do I use? It really depends on what you're sewing. Remember, the lower the number of the needle, the smaller is the hole. The higher the number, the bigger is the hole to accommodate thicker threads. All-purpose brand should be fine for common sewing. Why is it hard to open these machines? Well, they don't want you to open these machines. They totally discourage that. So they hide the screws. Gone are the days where you can open the machine within 5 minutes. The real answer really is there used to be a culture of fixing broken things at home. Nowadays, especially computer machines, they do not want you to do it. It can also be a real pain to disassemble these types of machine. Trust me on that. Can I hem jeans in these machines? These are the 2 videos I made for hemming jeans. Just understand this first, okay? There are 2 common types of side hems for jeans. The flat-filled seam and the serger type. The serger type are easier. The flat-filled seams are often used for heavy-duty jeans, and the quality of fabric are also thick. So, if you encounter the flat-filled seam, you can try folding it and hemming it. And if you encounter a sound or resistance, just don't sew the bump. Do not force it. Remember, the fabric types on every jeans vary. The heavier it is, the harder it is to pierce. And also remember, jeans is just a name of a garment. It doesn't tell much about the quality of fabric that is used to make that jean, if you know what I mean. In other words, try it. If it gives you resistance, don't force it. Why do I have to stabilize the fabric? To ensure that you have a stable and neat result with your stitches, especially for buttonholes, knits, and embroidery stitches. It's for your peace of mind also. You don't want to waste time unstitching ugly formation of stitches due to puckering, or worse, waste your fabric because you gave up unstitching it. How about computerized serger? Are they any good? Comparing this to my manual sergers, the computerized sergers are not as adaptable as I want it to be. But some people like to be prompted by the computer screen command. So in a way, it keeps them guided. just like the computerized sewing machine. The serger will not stitch if it's not safe. Trust me, there is a beep sound that will remind you that you are doing it wrong. So just to keep you in check. So in a way, there's a lot of restraint, but for some people, it actually helps them. Is it expensive to repair computerized sewing machines? It's a tricky question. Where I live, it costs $150 just to take a look at your machine or just basic cleaning. If diagnosed correctly, the parts are additional cost. By the time it's all said and done, it's not worth it. So it is a case-to-case scenario. Just get a new one. I heard many people have their computerized sewing machines repaired, but it's never the same. Why do the sounds differ? For sure, the really quiet ones are completely computerized, like this brother. The singer is part mechanical and computerized. And the singer also had a real sewing belt. It is heavier too, while the brother has a false motor, no sewing belt. It's like a fake brain, sorta, that tells the computer to work or sew. Do I really need to buy additional sewing machine foot, or do I need to use the ones that comes with my sewing machines? The accessories that comes with your sewing machine is really there to help you, but most of the time to butter you up to make that initial purchase. Most stitches can be done with the standard foot that comes with your sewing machine. On occasion, you may need them, but most of the time it just sits on the side. How I know this is I have almost 200 sewing machine feet attachments. Yep, I'm weird. When doing embroidery work, when is a good time to replace thread? Just before it totally runs out. A good stop and starting point also. You want to avoid in the middle of sewing thread replacement. How to watch out for shady brand endorsers. There are so many well-edited videos out there that are endorsing many brands, but all they really did is copy someone else's video or rip the images from the internet. They are professional video editors with sometimes ADHD editing. Beware on that. They just sound like they use the machines, but beware on that. When using the automatic threader, why does it sometimes give me a hard using it when all I want to do is continue my current stitch formation? Listen, every time you change the stitch number on the screen, sometimes the position of the needle changes. And if you attempt to rethread it using the auto threader, the threader will not correctly align. So you have to reset the machine if you want to use the threader. Or better yet, thread it manually. How long do I let these machines sit before I use them? The good thing about these machines is they are tolerable to sitting still for a while. The older machines, they freeze up or sew backwards, but not these machines. In fact, the less you use them, they stay in good shape. It's the opposite of the older machines. Just do the occasional service or light dab of oil in the middle of the bobbin. Or follow the manufacturer's instruction on how to maintain the machine. They hold up pretty well the less you use them. Can you believe that? Can I have my 8-year-old granddaughter sew this machine? Kids these days are pretty intuitive with electronics, as long as you give them guidance. On some occasions, it's actually the kid that tells you what to do with this machine because they catch up so fast and they're so smart these days. It is about quality control on the part of the product designer of the machine. The brother did a thorough job on this one, while the singer got away with some imperfections. For example, this is a stitch that I thought was so bad. What the heck am I looking at? I max out the width and the length of this. It looks so squiggly, scruffy. Another reason why you have to stick with the recommended default setting for every stitch to avoid this kind of problem. What color thread do I stock up? I call it blender colors. Black, green, blue, gray, cream, white. These colors are friendly to different shades, unless you have specific projects like you have to have a pink or orange. My bobbin thread eats up my fabric. Listen, everyone has this problem, okay? Take it out and start over. My machine is acting dumb. I tried to put out the right pressure foot, but it won't sew. This is what I do. Do not assume that the machine is broken. First, fault yourself and say, this is an operator error. You're missing something. If it persists, it is also possible that there's a problem with the sensor system of your machine. It's broken. My automatic threader is broken. Is it worth to repair it? No, but it's your money. You not only have to pay for the repair, cost of the parts, just buy a needle threader, a manual needle threader, because it's not worth it to repair it just for that purpose. These things are so fragile, and what are the chances that it will happen again? Do I have to get a cover for these machines? Yes, do cover them when not in use. It's good for you, protect from the dust and all that buildup. Trust me, it will work to your benefit. Can I travel with these machines? Yes, but do it on occasional basis because these machines are not meant to be transported on a constant basis. I know of someone who traveled with her machine and it just takes one time, that one bump, and the machine was never the same again. She had it repaired, still doing its thing. So yeah, like I said, it just takes one time for it to hit that nasty bump on the road. Just give it your best judgment on the type of road that you're traveling. Can you explain the width and length settings on these machines? Yes, a lot of them are in millimeters. So in America, we do not use the metric system, but the rest of the world uses the metric system. So I'm gonna pull up on the screen a visual on what they look like. So typically, if you see a 6 or a 7, that typically means is the length. The width cannot go that far, otherwise it will hit the presser foot. So in this picture that I'm showing on the screen, take a look at the dimensions of the width and length settings of the appropriate millimeter number. If you press a 6 or a 7, that typically means that you are increasing the height, the length of the stitch. Okay? I hope I made myself clear because a lot of people get this mixed up. I'm thinking about buying one that is used. Is that okay? Yes, but be very scrutinizing on who is selling them, the price compared to its market value, and the return policy. It is difficult to repair a computerized sewing machine. You never know what's going on with it. But if the price is right, do it. I bought a brand new computerized sewing machine years ago from Costco. 6 months later, it broke. I returned it. For peace of mind, go to your local dealership for warranty issues. For peace of mind, get a brand new sewing machine if you really want that assurance. And research the warranty issue also. I'd like to learn how to quilt. Would this be a good machine? Note that quilting constantly requires more usage of your machine compared to making a pajama or a dress. That constant stitching motion can be very demanding for this type of machine. Get a manual machine for heavy-duty quilting. That's why I broke my first computerized machine, because my project was I was quilting free motion with it. It can sew it, but try not to give it a lot of workloads, if you know what I mean. Any last advice? Just be nice to your computerized sewing machines. Treat it with respect. Gentle is better, and if you do that, it will so happy for you also. Thank you so much for watching. Pip, do you want to see my stitches? You want to see my stitches? Here, look. Look. Nice, huh?